Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will be covering some of the basic foundations while creating a Tableau dashboard. You can see I have opened Tableau desktop public version. You can also use a public version that is free of use, in which I have used one of the commonly available data source in Tableau, that is Global Superstore, and I have used a order data source. Let me go to Paint and explain you uh, a common Tableau desktop structure. Okay, so if we can assume that this square box is our Tableau dashboard. In all of the dashboards, we have some common elements. For example, at the top we will have dashboard name. We can also have last refresh date, so that user know that this dashboard was refreshed, and if they are checking some numbers, they should have idea like these numbers are based on what date. Then we can also have I button. I button is used to give some input to the user, or basically to help them, to guide them. In an I button we can have a tooltip where we can put some text and some guide, so that user know that how they can use this dashboard. And we can also have a logo for the client for which we have developed the dashboard. So these all these informations are generally present at the top of the dashboard. We can say that there will be a ribbon, this section, in that we will have the name of the dashboard. For example, we can say rep performance dashboard. And in the right hand section we can have for example last refresh date. Similarly, we can have I button or icon in the left hand side. So it depends upon design, whatever design we choose, but these elements generally are used, are placed at the top ribbon. Then we will have a section for the filters. We can either have that this section in the right, or most of the time it is placed in this section just below the ribbon. For example, either we can have the filter section here, or in some dashboards I have also seen that filter section is in the right side of the dashboard. So it depends whichever is suitable for our requirement. For this purpose, let me keep a section for the filters just below the ribbon section. And after that we usually have a KPI section, where like generally our KPIs are shown at the top of our dashboard. So suppose we can keep this section where we can have multiple KPIs, like for example, if we have 4 KPIs in our dashboard or 5 KPIs, we can place all those KPIs in this section like this. And then in the bottom section we usually have charts, for example in the bottom section, and it depends upon our requirement. Sometime we can have like two sections, two vertical sections, for example, like this, two vertical sections, and in these two vertical sections we can have any number of charts. So you can our basic layout will be, we will have like two charts in the top section and two charts in the bottom section, basically 4 charts in our dashboard. But it is not always the case, it purely depends upon the requirement. if we can also have like 3 vertical section in which we can increase the height of the dashboard. There will be a scroll, and we can also have like more than 2 charts. It purely depend upon the requirement and the space we have, because we have to ensure that the readability of chart is not lost. If we don't, for example, if we have around 8 chart or 10 chart and we don't want to have a scroll, then we can create 2 screens instead of fitting all the charts in the same screen. So this is a basic layout. For example, if we have created this kind of layout, we just have to create charts and place them accordingly. And we can also use the same layout for a new dashboard, for a new requirement. And in that we can do some modification. Like I explained, we can place filter at some other place. Number of KPIs can be different, they can be less, or in some project we cannot, like we may not have some KPIs. We only have a dedicated screen, like we can only have like 2 charts. So all those kind of changes we can do. But if we have created a layout, it will be very useful for us, because in that layout you will use the image which is suggested by the client. And if you are working for the same client again and again, then you can use the same layout. You can use because in that layout you have same color palette which are suggested by the client. You have logo and all the images which are suggested by the client. So now we will move to Tableau, where I will explain you how we can create this layout. Okay, so for that we will create a new dashboard. Let me change the width and height according to our requirement. For example, we can change it to fixed size, and let me try to increase the width like this. And yeah, I think this is the height. Okay, like this. Okay, so we first thing which we have to decide is we have to understand like what is the screen on which users are using the dashboard. If they, whether they are using on their laptop, or basically they are using that on their mobile phone accordingly. First thing what will you do is you will use a container. And in Tableau we have like 2 objects for that: horizontal container and vertical component. Horizontal container is a container in which you will place other objects or charts horizontally. Like for example, let me drag this here. This will be my first container, and if there is a horizontal container, you will place objects which are placed horizontal to each other. Whereas in vertical container you will place objects vertical to each other, but it is not fixed. So for example, if you have dragged a container, let me show you in layout. First they will be tiled, then we have a horizontal container which we have dragged. So it's not like that you will have to place objects horizontally, and if you want to place them vertically, then you should have used vertical container. It depends upon how you have placed objects. It will change accordingly. For example, we have dragged a horizontal container, but we are adding object, let me show you, vertically. Then you can do that, right? And it will, Tableau will automatically change that horizontal container to vertical component. Now you can see that horizontal container become vertical because we have used that horizontal container as a vertical container. So it does not matter. So that's why, as a best practice, what I do is I always use horizontal component. So the first thing is we have placed one horizontal container, and as per our requirement, what we understood is we like when we, like for example, we go to paint, we will require one vertical object, 2 vertical objects, third, fourth and fifth. So basically we will require around 5 vertical objects. So let's go ahead and add some containers so that we can use that to create the layout. But what I have observed is if I keep adding container in this, it will keep adding container within this and create an hierarchy. For example, if I again drop a vertical container, for example like this, and if I drag again a container here, so what it will do is it will create a hierarchy, like container inside container inside container, like this. So what we can do to avoid this, I use text object for my dummy purpose, for dummy activities. I can place this object here. I can write anything, okay, and then I will place another container. For example, I will place this, and then I will place another in between these two, and then I will place another in between these two, and I can remove this text. Now if we go to the layout, we can see we have one vertical container. We have not used vertical container, we use horizontal container at first place, but we added object vertically, so it is changed to vertical container. Now we have 3 horizontal container here, right? And we wanted to have around 5 horizontal container, or we can say 4 because I want one container, like I want for the bottom section one container, and in that container I will have like 2 vertical container. Okay, let me show you. So for example, this will be our top ribbon. I will fix the height to, for example, 100. This will be for filter. Let's fix the height to 50, and this will be for the top KPI. Let me fix the height to 100, and these are some random numbers. You can put any number based on your requirement. Okay, so in this section, for the bottom section we have only one container, right? Now we want to add more container in this section, and I will explain you like what is the purpose of creating you can say outer container, and in that we will be adding 2 container, because it will give us flexibility. The text object, now it is intact. Now I will drag 2 horizontal container, this and this. Now I will remove this. Okay, so if we go to layout, what we can see is there is a vertical container. In that we have some horizontal containers, this for the top ribbon, this one for the filter, this one for the top KPI, and then we have a single container for the complete bottom section where we will be having charts, and that we have divided into 2 horizontal containers. Now I will explain you that what is the benefit of doing this. So the thing is, in Tableau we have option for distribute containers evenly, and the benefit of doing that is, for example, if I select this, and I don't have to worry what will be the height of this container and what will be the height of this container. Tableau will automatically distribute all the element in this vertical container equally, right? So this is very helpful when we want to increase the width and height of the dashboard. Then we don't have to worry about this, because this is taken care automatically. Similarly, in this container we want to have 2 charts like this and this, so we have to add 2 containers. So it is also always recommended, instead of placing 2 charts in this next to each other, we should have a container and then we should add a chart. Let me just add a text here to fill this. Now I will add 2 container. That we have to think about that whether to use horizontal or vertical component in this situation. It purely depends upon how we are placing the objects. Okay, so we can see that in this vertical component we have like 4 containers. So in this also I can select distribute container evenly. So what will happen is, this width of this will be equals to width of this. So by this what will happen is all of these four charts will have same height and same width, and it will be done automatically. We don't have to think about it. So if I increase the height of dashboard and width of dashboard, everything will be taken care automatically. This is one of the thing, and it is not necessary that we will do this. It depend upon the requirement. If we want all the chart should take same amount of space, then we can do this. But for example, in the top section, I don't want to have equal space, because I know I have a pie chart which will take a less amount of space, whereas I have a grid chart which have like lot of columns and it will take more space. So what I can do is, from this I can remove this distribute container evenly, and I can have like a specific width for this. For example, I can fix it to 400, right? So this will be for pie chart and this will be for the grid chart. Now let me add the border so that it is visible properly to you guys. Okay. So now you can clearly see what we have created. Also in the top section, let me just add some containers so that we can add objects there. Let me put a text. This will be for date refresh. Then in the left hand side we can place some space, and we can give it a width of around 100, where we can have icon for the client, and here we can have a I button, suppose 15. Okay, and I can also reduce the height of the banner, because it is I'm feeling that it could be reduced and it will look better. So instead of 100, if we put it as 70, it is looking much better, right? And now here we can write the name of the dashboard. For example, we are creating for reps and their performance. Then we can write as like grep of men's dashboard. Okay, and here we can also have a text which will say refreshed date, and then we can have a refresh date based on a column which is coming from the backend. So we can ask backend team or DE team to provide us a column in which there will be a date based on when the data was refreshed. Here I button, and there we will be having some image. Okay, this section is for filter. We will fill it out later when we create some chart. And this is for the KPIs. So let me also add some containers here for KPIs. Let's suppose we will have like 4 KPIs, 4 important KPIs. Then we will create a container for that. I have seen some people, what they do is like they create container, but they don't create container for each chart. Like they will create this outer container, and then they will drag charts in that. That will also work. The only thing is, like, if you have container, then it will be very easy for you to maintain their height and width if required. We have created a layout of the dashboard, and now let me just quickly create some charts and just to fill this and show you like how it will look like. Okay. So I will be using some basic charts, like by category we can show discount, This will be a bar chart. Let me sort this one. Okay, and then we will create another chart. For this we can use maybe country and profit. Let's see what are the charts which are available. I can create a map chart. Let me put profit in colors so that it will be easy to understand. You have two steps. Either something is positive or something is negative. So we have created this kind of chart. And let me create one more chart, and for that I think I can create a grid chart where I will use customer ID numbers, and let's suppose we are using order date, and let's put sales here. Okay, so I'm just creating some basic chart quickly just to show you like how it will look like when we place chart in the layout which we have created. And suppose let's create profit and sales scatter plot, and then we can add customer ID in detail. Okay, we have created 4 charts. Let me just drag them in the dashboard. And have bar chart here. We can have a grid chart here. We will make it fit width. And then we can have a scatter plot here. And we will have a map chart here. Now we have added 4 charts. We can create a quick KPIs, like for example uh, discount. For this purpose I will use profit. In this we can use quantity. And in the fourth one we can use sale. Okay, so we are also done with creating 4 KPIs. Let me go to the dashboard, and so we can format them, but for now I'm not doing that because that is not the purpose of this video. Here I just wanted to show you like how can we create a layout and how quickly we can add the chart in them. Let's suppose we want to filter over dashboard on the basis of country. Let's apply it to all chart using this data source. Then we can apply it on the basis of city, on the basis of region, and let's suppose we want it on the basis of market. I will select on any of the filter, any of the sheet, and then I will drag out the filter region. Let's have it multi-value drop down. In customize view, we will apply. We'll add apply button. Okay. So region is done. Let's add another filter. Multi-value drop down. Customize all button. And we will have city. And then we can have market. Now as all these charts are in a container, we can select distribute container evenly. So we can see that this is the basic structure of all the dashboard. In terms of look and feel, we can do some modifications, but generally we have a ribbon at the top which have like these kind of information. We can have additional information if required. Then we will have a filter section. It can either be like this, or it can also be in the right hand side of the dashboard. It depends upon design to design. Then we will have top KPIs, and KPIs are generally placed in this section. And then we have a bottom section where we will place all the chart. It is very much recommended that we will go in this particular layout. First we will have a tile, then we will have a container. Okay, because we are having vertical object in this become vertical container. Now what vertical components we were having? This is like top ribbon, this is filter section, this is top KPI, and this is bottom section for the chart. And all these section, they have horizontal component. They are placed horizontal to each other like this, and here also. And in the last section, this is a vertical. So we have like two horizontal section here. One is this one, and another one is this one. In these sections we have horizontal component. So a vertical container, and in that horizontal container will give us the capability to adjust height and width based on that. And like for example, if there is a requirement to change, make modification, it will be very quick. You can do everything within 5 to 10 minutes. Whereas if you are not following these best practices, then you will have to rework again and again, and you will invest more time.